In this lecture, we are going to discuss about factors affecting site layout. So the most construction sites that run into trouble do so for various reasons related to managerial factors rather than because of technical problems. So the site-based management can make significant improvements in the cost and time savings during the construction process without involving a mass of additional work. The role of site managers is to control and maintain work performance and then taking actions to rectify situations where performance is unsatisfactory. So most of the time in construction site, the problem we encounter is due to managerial factors. Okay? Site-based management, like site-based management means how do we do day-to-day activities, managing all the site activities. So which makes immense effects on cost and time savings, okay, during the process of construction projects without involving some mass of additional work. So we don't need to do some rework. Okay, so here comes the site manager's role, where to control and maintain the work performance then and there, and we need to take some actions to rectify the wherever there is a problem or we need to control any thing in our project. We need to take some initiatives to make sure that it doesn't affect much in our construction project. The site management in general involves many tasks such as site investigation before construction process starts, material delivery, procurement management, and keeping better site records. So site records is also important. We need to take care of all the documents that is documents that is acquired during the construction project time. So keeping good site communication. Site communication means within the employees or engineers to contractors. So we need to have some proper communication. So that is also one of the activities of site management. And high level of information flow. So we need to make sure we need to that we are communicating and we are you know uh, transferring our information to the top level to the bottom level. So that is also plays a vital role here. If you don't do that, then the site management will be affected. Okay, there won't be effective site management in our project. So monitoring performance regularly. So as an engineer, we need to monitor the performance, on a daily basis, and we need to submit a report on a monthly basis. Okay, what is the gap we have found, and what is the initiative that action taken can be given to the corresponding people. Establishing a well coordination system among different parts and performing a good site layout planning. So that is also one aspect of site management. Among the important tasks of site management is the site layout planning. So extensive time loss and cost overruns could result in large projects where the number of manpower, subcontractors, and equipment involved are high if there is no effective and systematic approach to site planning. So whenever there is no planning or site planning is taken, then we will come across this kind of time loss and cost overrun. Okay, so these are two important parameters of any construction projects where we will be facing shortage of manpower, shortage of subcontractors, equipment deficiency. Such things will be it's not preventable. Okay, when you don't have a proper site planning. A detailed planning of site layout and location of temporary facilities can enable the management to make considerable improvement by minimizing the travel time, waiting time, and increasing worker morale by showing better and safer work environment. So the detailed planning is very much important. Why? Because when you do detailed planning, it minimizes the travel time, waiting time, and increasing the worker morale. So whenever the morality is increasing, then they show better effective work, or the productivity of the worker might get increased. The morality. Okay, so it will directly affect the morality. The productivity of the worker, and it leads to better and safer work environment in the project. Yeah. So due to its important, the research focuses on the site layout planning problem. So, site layout planning is very much important aspect. That is why I've given so much of importance, or why site layout is important. So I've given some explanation here. So site layout involves identifying, sizing, and placing of temporary activities. So temporary active facilities means a creation of engineers, the labors, shelters, something like that. Okay, or the equipment materials to be uh, stored in a particular place. So that is also comes under temporary facilities. So within the boundaries of construction site. These temporary facilities range from simple layout areas to warehouse, fabrication shops, maintenance shops, batch plant, and residence facilities. These temporary facilities includes so and so. Okay, includes fabrication, maintenance, batch plant, and residence facilities. The residence means the place where the laborers are going to get uh, um, live. Okay, so that is called residence. So it is all temporary facilities, not the permanent one. So required temporary facilities and their areas are depending in many factors, including project type, scale, size, design, location, and organization of construction project. Planning in particular has the most neglected aspect in the construction industry, and the attitude of the engineers has been that it will done as a project progress. Okay, so we should not make sure that the site planning is, we can do the site planning during the construction process or progress of the project. It should not be like that. The attitude should be changed, because such attitude will bring down the project performance. Okay, it is very important to realize that site planning will be the conditions that site personnel will live with without the total duration of the construction period. Therefore, careful pre-planning is imperative, since the labor cost in the large project constitute approximately 60 to 50 to 60% of the total cost. Significant saving can be occurred if the labor force is moved freely and quickly within the site. So when you don't do site planning, then the labor will take more time to move from one place to another place. It will take more time to move the material from one place to another place. So it is a very poor site planning. So when you don't do that, when you do effective site planning, then we can able to save the cost. Let us save around 50% of cost. Okay. The problem of site layout planning has been solved by researchers by using two distinctive methods: optimization and heuristics. Optimization means that it is a mathematical procedure that have been designed to produce optimal solutions. Heuristic methods, on the other hand, used to produce good but not optimal solutions. The first category cannot be adopted for large projects. The second category only available mean for solving the complex real life projects. So we can either use this one and or heuristic methods, okay, optimization or heuristic methods, whenever depending upon the project type. So the problem, uh, existing problem is, so they have listed out the different, the problem involved in the site. That is material stacks wrongly located. So that is one problem we encounter in our project. So material arriving on the site are offloaded on what someone guesses to be in the correct location. This problem may involve double or triple handling of materials to another location. For example, they may stocked over a drainage line or near the edge of the excavation. They are too far from the work area. So this is all example of wrongly located. Okay, when the material stacks are wrongly located. Okay, so they are too remote from the hoist or not within the radius of the crane. So these are some examples of wrongly located. Okay, so the second aspect of problem is plant and equipment wrongly located. So when the mixer is inaccessible for the delivery of materials, not enough room for storage of aggregates, fixed crane unable to reach all parts of the work. So whenever the crane is not able to access the materials, so then there will be a problem to access the materials. So we need to move the material from one place to another place. So that is also one issue we encounter in our projects. Inadequate space layout. Space Where inadequate space is allowed for stacking of materials or activities, material may be stacked too high or stacked on roadways, causing hazards to the work environment. Okay. Site that's wrongly located in relation to their effective use, such as Site office located too near the noisy activities such as mixer, or located too near to the site roads, industry conditions, or too remote to the insufficient overview of the site. These are all places where we should avoid. Okay, warehouse having inadequate access for loading and unloading, or located in insecure area. Okay, there won't be much security to the warehouses. In that case, that is also we should avoid. So, factors affecting site layout. So, site layout planning elements. A well-planned site, including all temporary activities and utilities, leads to increasing productivity and safety, reducing areas needed for temporary construction, and maximizing utilization. So these are important importance of site layout planning. Okay, these are three elements we need to consider. So the points to be considered in good site layout are: first one, safety. So safety is very important. Under safety, we have fire prevention, medical service, and construction safety clothing. So fire prevention means fire is a major cause of hazard damage on the construction sites. So the fire extinguishers are basic requirements on a construction project. Medical service. On construction project, a first aid kit is a very must. In remote projects, a very well equipped medical room with a doctor and nurse is important. Construction safety clothing. Basic safety supplies like safety shoes, safety hard hats, gloves, and goggles must be used by workers. Number two, site accessibility. Easy accessibility will keep the morale of the equipment and vehicle drivers high, minimizes the chances of accidents, and save time in maneuvering to arrive at and leave the project. Easy accessibility is very important. Thereby, it increases the morality of the drivers. Okay, where driving the vehicles in and around the projects, maneuvering. Okay, in case of large projects, proper planning is required to lay out the roads leading from the nearest highway. Internal roads are necessary for easy flow of works. So we need to make sure we are building some internal roads within the construction projects, so that we can make sure that materials, equipment are transferred from one place to another place. Also, parking lots are provided for the owner, office, and craft personnel, but, but this facility must be planned where the space does exist. So we need to make sure we are having proper parking facilities. Okay, for the the engineers, the office personnel, staffs, everything. Information sites. So in the site planning, the third important parameter is information sign, site map. So we need to locate all the details of the project and display it in the office of the site. Superintendent or project manager are posted in the entrance gate. So we need to make sure we are displaying all the site maps. Traffic regulatory signs. For large projects, traffic regulatory signs help in guiding the traffic on the site and avoid accidents to a considerable extent. Display of labor relations policy and safety rules. This will help in the eliminating disputes between labor and management. We need to display such policy and rules in the project. Emergency route and underground service. So it is important to display emergency escape routes on every floor as the building progresses. Locations of underground services should be marked to prevent its damage. So we need to locate the underground service. We need to make sure we are marking the locations. So number four, security. Security, under that we have entrance lighting and fencing. So in entrance, it is necessary to have a proper guard entrance to the site provided by the booth. Also, it is necessary to keep track of all the visitors to the project. We need to enter all the details of the entry. I mean, the outsiders coming into the projects. The lighting is necessary to have standby generator to maintain street lighting. That is site lighting. Fencing, the boundary should be fenced off from the security point of view. So fencing, lighting, and entrance is very important from the security point of view. Okay. Accommodation. On large construction projects, it is necessary to provide camp accommodation for all type of staffs involved in the project. Offices. Offices should be close together, close to the site, and in a safe area. Also provide the offices with proper office equipment. Offices at the site may include job office, general contractor office, subcontractor, and consultant offices. Water supply and sanitation. So it is necessary to have water and toilet facilities in a convenient locations to accommodate the workforce. Material handling. So one third or more of the construction operations can be classified as a material handling. The use of proper equipment for material handling and advanced planning for minimizing multiple handling will result in direct cost and time savings. So ninth one, that is storage and site cleaning. So it is very important and necessary to plan and reserve storage area for materials so that multiple movement of materials is avoided. So laydown areas reserved for storage of large materials and equipments, and it can be short term or long term. So laydown areas means where we are going to store large materials and large equipments. That is called laydown area. Warehouse, they are sheltered storage facility where the materials are stored until they are dispersed to the job. So they are sheltered storage facilities. That is called warehouse. Material stacking area, they are used when materials are stored near the work on a short-term basis. They are generally as close to work as possible. So where we are going to store in a short-term basis. That is called material stacking areas. Site cleaning, it is necessary at the site or workplace, especially where the extent of debris produced is high. So in that case, regular disposal of debris is very much necessary. So we need to make sure we are cleaning the site then and there. Okay, because of debris, the work efficiency or morality or hazard will take place. Hazard or risk might come into the picture. So that is why we need to make sure your storage and site cleaning is also important aspect here. So 10, batch plant and fabrication shops. Batch plants are provided on projects where it is more economical to produce concrete on site than to buy ready mix. So aggregate storage piles, cement silos, and admixture tanks will accompany on the on-site batch plant. So most of the time, whenever there is a metro rail projects, in that case, we need more quantity of concrete. Okay, so we cannot order the concrete on a regular basis. Such a way that we will have some workplace where we will have some batch plant I mean, um, installed in the the project site itself. In that case, it is very economical. Okay, than to buy some ready mix whenever we need. So in that case, we need to have proper place for storing the aggregate piles, cement silos, and administrative tanks, etc. So shops are used where materials and equipments are fabricated on site. This includes electrical, mechanical, carpentry, and paint shops. Also, testing shops used to house the necessary testing equipment and personnel for the project. So this is the example of site layout planning. In this example, you can see different elements given in the site. So this is a building. Building is given in the center, and in the surrounding, you can around the building you can say stockpile, scaffolding, waste materials are separated here. I mean mentioned here. There is a temporary road where we discussed just now as one of the aspects. Temporary road, cement silos, mortar mixer, and hoisting machines, and the concrete batching plant is given here. So we need to make sure we are giving proper space around the building for different elements so that the site management is properly carried out, okay, to complete the project in an effective way. So when you don't give proper space like this, then what happens is there will be some uh, dispute between the contractor and engineer in placing the equipment or placing the the labors in different project workplace. While executing the project, there will be some issues, or the total duration of the project might get delayed, might get affected due to this proper improper site planning. Okay, so it is, and here we can say the criticism of existing site layout. So when you place such materials around the buildings, what happens is that is given here. The both hoist have separate scaffold staging, causing increased cost. Materials not stockpiled near the hoist. Entrance to the site is too narrow for the truck to pass. Stores are located behind batching plants, so obscuring the storeman's view, and checkpoint is separated from the stores. Concrete mixers are located too far from the hoist. So when it is not, properly arranged in the site, so these are some criticism or problem that we will face. Okay, Temporary roads are long and narrow. Stockpiles are dispersed and hinder unloading. So some stores are difficult to reach. So these are some criticism of existing site layout. So this is the layout that we can go for. Okay, we can change that particular layout into this kind of like this. So when you arrange like this, the site planning activity can be done effective in effective way. Okay, so when you place the materials, temporary road and batching plant, the stockpile stones and canting in a separate way, and waste materials are like uh, stored separately behind the building. In that case, it can the work can be effectively executed in our project. Okay. So site planning is very much important when you adopt such principles or factors that we discussed in the previous slides. Okay. So the suggested improved layout. Um the both hoists are housed in a common scaffold. Batching plants have direct discharge into dumpers. Access have been widened near the site entrance. So access is widened. Okay. The previous picture we have seen that it's narrow. Okay, narrow entrance is there. Here, access is widened. The stores are located to give good view of all the stock materials and um, sited near the temporary road. Concrete mixers are located near the hoist. Temporary roads are shorter and wider. The compound is provided to police non-bulk activities. So these are some references that I've taken for preparing this lecture. Thank you.